and Nemaha. For our live stream, we do have a tornado watch that's in place right now that is along the Nebraska state line. We have another one from Greenwood County down into Oklahoma. Now, we have a line of storms likely to develop in between those, and really any minute now we could see a tornado watch issued for the rest of northeast Kansas. So at this time, we have a severe thunderstorm warning just issued from Marshall and Nemaha County. But that's really kind of the beginning of this from what I'm seeing. If you check out the surface winds, we have winds gusting almost 40 miles per hour from the south in Topeka, from the southwest Concordia. That little difference in wind direction is what helps us set up the dry line feature. The dry line basically is air coming straight from the Gulf of Mexico, super humid. The drier air from the southwest coming out of Arizona and New Mexico and Texas itself. So that temperatures are similar, but the air mass is much different. So along this dry line is where you tend to see storms popping up. You can really see the feature when you zoom out a little bigger. Dew points in the 40s from Wichita to Dodge City, dew point 37 in Garden City. Everything that's green represents the higher moisture content, and when we drop off from 60s to 40s, that's where you have the line that will likely fire off some of these storms this evening. We've already seen tornado warnings in Nebraska, even a confirmed tornado, and there's a tornado warning right now in Greenwood County. So we're kind of surrounded by this, and you can see the storms filling in just east of Marysville. And this is where the National Weather Service just issued the severe storm warning a few minutes ago for eastern Marshall and western parts of Nemaha County. That's the line itself. So that line may fill in. There could be isolated storms in the line, but that's the feature right now that's going to be giving us this risk of storms and possibly tornadoes. That's a real threat this evening. There's a real threat of it tomorrow as well. But let's take this evening first, or afternoon, earlier in the day. So 79 in Topeka, 54 in Pierre, South Dakota. And the thing that's making this super exciting, if you will, is this feature in the jet stream. This is called a shortwave trough right there. So the jet stream, it's always moving fast in the air down here at the surface, or almost always. And when you get a trough shape like that, a trough, just shaped like what the animals eat out of, a trough, that's what it is. A trough shape right there. In this case, the trough is negatively tilted, which means it kind of points off to the southeast. Negatively tilted troughs have more energy than if it was just shaped like a bucket right here. So this negative tilt right here is at the jet stream level is part of what makes this more likely to produce tornadoes. There's also very strong jet stream winds. Anything in the white is at least 100 miles per hour up at 30,000 feet. So back here, ground level, here's what's up right now. Now to give you an idea of kind of why it's all kind of going on. We have the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place right there in Nemaha County and Marshall County. Let's zoom in on this and see what the storm looks like up close. So again, this is severe thunderstorm warning around areas like Vermilion, Baileyville. This is not one that's showing signs of rotation yet, but the storms take time to grow in strength. They take time to rotate. It's not often that you see something go from 0 to tornado in 5 minutes. That's really rare. But you see them kind of grow, and over time you eventually get, they can become worse. Sometimes they weaken, but in this case we're at perfect time of day with the setup for it to become most likely worse. So the specifics on this, the National Weather Service says hail up to golf ball size is possible with this as it approaches areas like Baileyville, Vermilion. You could be in this as well, and Centralia, Seneca, Bern, Oneida. I met a lot of folks in those areas. Of course, just yesterday I was over in Marysville. We passed through home on the way down, back to Topeka. But right now we have that severe thunderstorm warning, and that's the first warning we've had of the day here in the WIBW viewing area. As we zoom out, I'll pan down to the south, and what you're going to see is that we also have a tornado warning that is 1 county south of Burlington. So Coffee County, the National Weather Service mentioned this would probably pass just south of Coffee County, but if you're in Burlington, certainly that's one you'd be concerned about and watching. So we have tornado warnings, a couple of them, to our south. I'm showing you that right now, and I'll zoom out and show you the other side of this. We'll zoom out, and what you'll see is in Nebraska, we have tornado warnings as well. The white areas in red, those are tornado warnings. So we're surrounded on both sides. Tornado warnings to the south and north. In between is where we're starting to see some storms starting to fill in at this time. So there are the watches that are currently in place from the Kansas-Nebraska state line, and there's a gap across northeast Kansas. You have the storms to the southeast, just one county south of Coffee down into Woodson counties where that tornado warning is at this point, and the surface low right up here. And as I mentioned, that negatively tilted trough is all part of this. So you put those things together, and we're just going to be active this evening. Certainly between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. will be the key time that I'm worried about tornadoes in our area. Again, it takes a while for these things to ramp up, but we really went from, let's see, 30 minutes, an hour ago was nothing. 30 minutes ago was nothing. Now we have hail the size of golf balls possible in there. So that's developing very quickly. Within a half hour, you could see that thing become a tornado, probably in Nebraska by the time it would do so. But along the line, there'll be more stuff developing, probably just east of Manhattan, maybe near Council Grove, and down as you get into areas like Strong City and Cottonwood Falls. So on Supercast, this is the HRRR models that we're looking at here, put into our system, and it shows that by 5 o'clock, it fills in supercells. Now, just because it puts a supercell basically right over Topeka, and this would be a catastrophe most likely if this thing was to happen. Just because it picks that spot doesn't mean that's where this will be. It's a model projection. Just kind of follow the trend of what it's showing. I have seen it before put a supercell in the right spot a day in advance, but in this case, just 5 p.m., we're close to Highway 75 with a significant risk of severe weather and tornadoes. If you have friends or family, or if you are making the evening commute home from anywhere in northeast Kansas this evening, it bears making a decision of, do you leave a few minutes early to get home before the stuff, or wait an hour and go home later? I really wouldn't want to be in rush hour traffic in Topeka or anywhere with a tornado warning ongoing. That's just not safe. So if you can leave a few minutes early from work, and on a Friday, everyone wants to leave early, but if you can leave a few minutes early this evening, it may save you some headache. I'm not saying you're hit by a tornado on the way home. I don't want to scare anybody like that, but you don't want to be driving in a tornado warning or in hail or blinding rain in rush hour. That's just you can have an auto accident, and frankly, we have far more people hurt by auto accidents than tornadoes ever can. So just being smart about that can protect you as well. As we get close to 7 p.m. and 8 p.m., I'm saying 8 for the end of the risk for us is what I've just been estimating. That's because the storms look to be out of here before 8. So I'll just say between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock is the peak of risk here in northeast Kansas, and mainly along and east of that line. So from I'd say Marysville, Manhattan, and not quite Council Grove, probably over to Wilsey, you'd be out of the risk of tornadoes already, frankly. By 8 o'clock, I think we're all out of it for the rest of today, and then we'll have to focus on tomorrow, which has an even more significant weather pattern that could cause big tornadoes over a widespread area. And I'll mention that here as well. But again, keep in mind, between really any time from, we're at 3:38 now, the peak of tornado risk for us, from what I see, is 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. I'm not saying for sure we'll get one. It's very likely we'll get at least one tornado warning in the area, but we could have several. That's a real possibility. Now tomorrow, this risk would be 3 p.m., I'd say until 10 p.m. I don't think it'll go past that. It could, but this large area of yellow with the black hash marks on it, 10% is a very significant risk. If we had a 2% risk of tornadoes in the area, we usually have the whole weather team in here ready to go because we could have wild storms. 2% is a big deal. You want 0 on this map. Once the Weather Service crosses the Storm Prediction Center, once they crosses 5 and go up into 10, that's a level of confidence. And the SPC folks, the Storm Prediction Center, they don't want to put out a big risk area like this with the hash marks. The hash marks indicate F2 to F5 tornadoes are possible, not guaranteed, not going to happen, but they have reports they do after the storms to see how well did we do. So they have motivation to not overhype something like this. They're not folks that are trying to get a bunch of YouTube followers or something. Folks, the SPC are just doing the job from a numerical standpoint, and they are not looking to put out a big risk like this to get everybody excited. The SPC is not in that business or that game, so they're different. So when they put out something that's this big with a bunch of black hash marks on indicating 10% risk, large tornadoes are quite possible, F2 to F5, and they use words like violent, or they use words like strong. they don't use those words in even tornado updates unless they're confident that something nasty like this is going to happen. So tomorrow, a very big area is in this tornado risk. So we'll stop supercast tomorrow about 2 p.m. While there could be some severe storm warnings on this, the risk of seeing tornadoes would certainly be in the afternoon evening from 3 p.m. until about 10 p.m. There will be big damaging storms along that line. There's almost no doubt about it. So that's tomorrow's problem. So tonight we'll see temperatures in the low 50s in Concordia, Marysville, where you're already behind the dry line here. The dry line tonight will start retreating, going back westward. So right now it's making its way toward Missouri. But tomorrow that dry line, the higher humidity, will start creeping back westward, and it will set us up for more of these storms. So tomorrow highs in the 70s. We will see severe storms likely tomorrow, and there's significant tornado risk in our area as well. So we'll go ahead and go back to the beginning of this. And to go back to this one more time in the live stream before our 4 o'clock show. Now, anytime we have tornado warnings going this evening, which we probably will, we will have a live stream here. You can watch, of course, and it will be on TV, on WIBW TV 13.1, and whatever program we have going on, whether it's our newscast or whatever it might be, we would cover that up with the live stream of tornado information. So one more time through this, and we'll get back for the ready for the 4 o'clock show. Severe storm warning right now in eastern Marshall, western Nemaha is in place, and you can see the surface winds coming from the south in Topeka, southwest around Concordia, and with a difference of the wind is occurring, makes a big difference in what kind of air mass you have. So a dew point of 61 in Topeka, with the wind coming straight from the Gulf of Mexico across Texas, Oklahoma, right past Coffeyville, right on up Highway 75, and in Topeka, dew point of 61. Concordia, your air mass is coming from the west and southwest, dew point 49. So where that drop-off occurs is called the dry line. First time I heard the word dry line was the movie Twister. If anybody else watched that, I think that probably encouraged a lot of folks to get into the weather business and certainly chasing tornadoes. So along the dry line is exactly where you're seeing this line of storms pop up along the Marshall-Nemaha County line. Hail the size of golf balls is possible there. So the Marysville, the wind from the southwest, that little difference is a big difference on what kind of moisture content they have in the air. So temperatures are very warm here, plenty of instability for storms to get going. This shape I mentioned earlier is a trough at the jet stream level, and because that trough, it's trough just like the animals eat out. That's the word it comes from. That trough going southeast means negatively tilted. So you're ever reading these SPC statements and that kind of thing. If you see negatively tilted trough, that's not something we see very often, and they do enhance the ability for the storms to produce updrafts and to rotate. So when we see a dry line, jet stream winds over 100 miles per hour, a negatively tilted trough, and dew points over 60 on the moist side of the dry line, a lot of those things add up to tornado risk. And in Kansas, April, May tend to be the time of the year we tend to see that. Is that a tornado emergency up in Omaha? I think it is. I think it's a tornado emergency right now in Omaha, or near Omaha. Go back to BR here. There's a tornado emergency right now for the north side of Omaha. Wow. So that's confirmed tornado, and I have black around these. The reason I've coded this way is I have white for tornado warnings. A lot of people won't do that. I have white because it stands out versus all the other colors. If I had red, it kind of bleeds in. That's a standard color from the Weather Service. Some people use purple. I use white because it stands out. You can see where that tornado warning is, no doubt. And I use black only for a tornado emergency. That's why I have this one on here. So what that means in this situation is I see a big tornado going toward a populated area, and they expect to see injuries and possible loss of life. They expect to see injuries when they say tornado emergency. This is rare. You might see one of these a year. Some years you won't see a tornado emergency at all. So that's a tornado emergency right now for the west and north side of Omaha going on right now. So that's kind of energy this thing happens. I'm not trying to scare you and make you think that's going to happen here, but you should be ready just in case something like it happens. It's the same storm. So we have the severe storm warning for western Marshall and western Nemaha and eastern Marshall with golf ball size hail possible. We will have 13 News at 4 coming up in just a little while. Check back with us there. And of course, we have live streaming whenever we have severe storms or tornado warnings issued in our area. So stay with us all day. Be weather aware. This could be a dangerous day, and so far it's very dangerous around Omaha. Around here it's still a potential. We don't have a tornado watch for the bulk of northeast Kansas yet, but I think we will have one shortly. So check with us soon. We'll be here all day.